Hey there, I have Rob Horricks from Blush Lane on the call here today. Rob, tell us a little bit about Blush Lane.
Sure. So we're a natural food grocery retail store. 5 locations, um, small footprints. Try and be around 7 to 10,000 square foot, and we've been around since 2004.
Awesome. And this is in Alberta, correct?
This is in Alberta with Calgary and Edmonton.
Right on, right on. So, Rob, this whole series that we're doing here is, I guess, a little bit self-serving, but what we're asking folks and leaders such as yourself is, what is a conscious brand?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think it's a brand. It's a company that's always willing to grow and change. I think that's one part of it. And I think for me, probably the biggest part is realizing that the conscious side of it, as far as management, is just realizing that as a group, your culture and your team uh, build its own consciousness, as it were, and just how we do that, how we foster that in a positive direction, and create the world we want to live in.
Awesome. What would be some of the words that you would use to describe a conscious brand? You mentioned leadership management. What are some of the other kind of adjectives that you might use?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, Daring,
Hmm.
I think, is a good one. Um, Embracing failure,
Yeah, fail fast, hey?
fail, yeah, and often. Um, Learning, evolving, and um, open,
And open.
open. Yeah,
Nice one.
yeah.
What would you say some of the biggest roadblocks have you seen in Blush Lane becoming a conscious brand?
It starts from the top. So I think some of the biggest roadblocks that we've overcome are things, and obviously you don't see them when you have them. But I think learning to get out of your own way as leaders, and teaching people that so often when you're get to a certain position in the company, you do so because you're a good worker, you know how to do things, and it's easy to just keep doing everything. But to scale up and to grow and to build your team, you really have to start shedding the things that you're good at, putting systems in place, empowering people, giving them clear objectives, and letting them go do their thing and learn and grow as people within your organization.
Hmm. So Blush Lane, has grown quite rapidly over the last few years. And what would you say are the two things that you've done differently that have made yourself kind of emerge into this place of a conscious brand? You talked about getting out of your own way, talked about delegation, um, and the scaling up. But yeah, what else would you say?
I think as far as growth, you're talking about
Yeah, well, as
growing.
far as just kind of doing things differently, because
Mm.
there's lots of natural food stores, there's lots of retail businesses out there, but you seem to be successful in your approach. And what is that secret sauce, if you will?
Well, I think it's culture. Culture is just such a huge driver. And our culture has a passion for food, clean, and clean environment. Um, so that's, I think, what brings a lot of us together, and allows us to feel motivated working long hours, and also just to keep people aligned. And I don't want to be out there micromanaging people, so we have to have strong core values that they know what the goals of the company are, so they can act without having to come and ask me every time.
Okay, that's really curious. Just kind of this core values side of it segues into leadership. We have a saying that an organization can't be any more conscious or can't be more conscious than the leadership that runs it. What leadership do you think is required for a conscious brand?
Oh boy, I think you need to realize, know what you don't know, there's so much out there, you know, and a big trap is thinking you know how to manage, you've got the system. And really, for me, it's, you know, either I'm not don't know enough about it, or it's just always changing. And it's just the willingness to change and to be part of change. I don't think that we've ever had any moments where we're stable. To be honest with you, everything is always in flux and always changing, and really that's the only permanent thing that we have. So being able to embrace and live in change, I think, is a super powerful aspect.
Right on, right on. And then just kind of one last question. I think the growth of this industry is based on the innovation and people, new businesses starting, and new leaders kind of bringing in new thoughts. And my question to you is, what advice would you give a new or emerging organization to become a conscious brand?
I think first, again, is knowing what you don't know, and a big part of that is surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, that have made more mistakes than you. So I'm a big supporter of mentors. It's probably something I didn't access as much as I should have, and I do spend time now mentoring young businesses, just because it's so much easier when you have some wisdom around you to just, you know, to learn a few new things and to learn from their mistakes. Really, you know, a lot of times entrepreneurs are very headstrong, and that's why they go and do their thing. And I think sometimes entrepreneurs like myself think that we can do it on our own, and really it's so much value in surrounding yourself with wisdom of elders and different points of views, and just keep all that in your culture.
Right on. I was watching this Joe Rogan, Paul Stamets interview yesterday, and Paul said something that really stuck out for me. And it was, I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but the reality is not limited to the perception we have traditionally used. And I think, what you're saying is bringing in those outside voices is valuable, because we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Horricks, we will connect with you soon, and thanks so much. We look forward
Absolutely.
to seeing you grow and continue to become a more conscious brand.
Sounds fun.
Thanks, Rob.
See you, buddy.